going to be on as well.
Yep. Hey, how you guys doing? This is Sup Friend, and this is Isaac Eubank. I'm here with my boy Robert Turo. We're just hanging out, man. This is my new podcast, you guys. I'm basically just hooking up with old friends and trying to make new friends because I'm one of those them grumpy old bastards, that people are kind of like, afraid to talk to when they see me. But I mean, that's really just the way that I look. On the inside, I'm a nice guy, and I'm trying to let people know that. So I created this podcast, and I'm reaching out, and I'm hanging out with folks. So Robert Turo is the second guest. The first one was my girlfriend Sophie. He is the first we'll call you know non-civilian guest because he's a comic as well. So let's get into it, Rob. Man, how you been, man?
I've been really good. I'm a little tired after last night. We had a fun show last night over at Christian's Tailgate, and you were there. You got to see some of the action there. But other than that, it's hot as hell. But I'm inside, so thank
Yeah,
God
right.
for essential air, huh?
Oh my God, dude, this heat is something retarded, man. I hate it, and my kids hate it even more because I'm always sending them out to walk the dogs, because I don't
Mm-hmm.
want to fuck with this heat at all. And
Mm-hmm.
and my 90-year-old grandmother's in town visiting.
Ooh.
Yeah, and so she's always trying to like go with them to walk the dogs, and I'm trying to like hold her back, like, hey, you can't go out there, it's too hot. I'm gonna end up being that family member that killed grandma. That's you know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's not the
Yeah.
good. That's not a good position to be in. You know what I mean?
No.
But yeah, man, it's crazy out here in this Houston weather. I wish I was somewhere else right now, man. Do you got a pool where you're at?
There's a pool right outside my apartment door, but I've always been too timid to go out there because there's a lot of eights and nines that walk around in bikinis out there.
Really,
Yeah,
really.
and so I just stare at them through my window like a creep.
That's hilarious, man. But you know what I've noticed, man? I'm from California, and since I've lived in Houston, the chicks out here, they don't go for it's not there's not an equal footing. It's like they don't go for their like eights and nines. If you see an eight, she's typically with like a five.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm not saying that you're an ugly guy at all. I think you're a nice looking guy, man. But I think you'd have a better chance than most, man. Don't put yourself down, brother. I'm
Yeah.
just these chicks, man, they surprised me. That was one of the first things that I noticed, dude, because I'm really cocky, man. I got a lot of self-esteem,
Yeah.
and so when I first came here, I was single, I don't know what it was. If it's just like blonde chicks don't like me, or it's the Texas thing, or what, man. But I just was not doing that well, man, in the girl department out here, and it seemed like the guys that were doing good were the plainer, just regular looking guys, man. So I don't know, man. uh
It is what it is. I mean, I've always felt that Texas women are the most beautiful women in the world, and Houston definitely has its fair share of Texas women, of course.
mhm.
I actually lived out in California and Los Angeles for about 7 years,
So you know what I'm talking
and
about.
I do know what you're talking about because um, especially even in the comedy scene, which dear lord, I you couldn't pay me enough to be a woman in the comedy scene in LA.
No, hell
The
no.
horror stories I would hear, I mean, like, because we're talking it's 500 single males, they couldn't get a date if their life depended on it, and then you've got 10, 15 single females, and I mean, every time they're on the scene, they've got to make up lies. They've got to, I'm not interested. I'm a lesbian. Because they literally have to get hit on by every single comic that's on the show with them that night. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's not much better here in Houston, but but that's only because I don't see as many females on the scene here as I did in LA. But yeah, as far as what you were saying, yeah, the Texas girls, they tend to go for a different kind of guy than they do out in LA. LA, yeah, definitely, you got to have that, the abs and the man bun and all that shit.
Right?
And here, Texas girls, they don't go for that. They want like a man that can provide for they I feel like Texas girls are harder to please because they want a man that could build them a house wherever they want right then and there. Just they go, build me a house right here, and that's the kind of guy they want, and so it's
Right?
not really based on looks.
Yeah, seeing those pretty boys, man, they're too busy, spending time in the gym working on those abs to pay for those houses,
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
so yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't work out, man. That's cool though, man. Well, that's cool that you got a pool with some hot bitches, man. I mean, I'm talking, I'm seeing like a future barbecue, man. Get some
Yeah.
comics over there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we could do that. They got a bunch of girls there too, so I mean,
Dude,
like we
I'm
could.
all about hanging out. I got a girlfriend, but I mean, my eyes can still look. You know what I'm saying? That girlfriends don't make you blind.
No,
You know.
apparently not.
Oh man, let me tell you, last night, man, when I was on stage, there was this waitress, man, with these big old titties, and she was
Hmm.
cleaning tables like right in front of me, and I kept
Hmm.
looking down, and one of the tables caught me looking. They were just laughing their ass off, man.
I know exactly who you're talking about. And I was talking to Rich after you left. I was like pointing around. I said, look, notice how she literally found the shorts that match her skin. The whole time I couldn't tell if she was wearing shorts or if she just, because she was wearing that baseball jersey that just barely covered her butt. And I couldn't tell if I was like, am I looking at her butt or am I looking at like the back of her shorts? And I
Right,
finally looked
right.
up close and it was like exactly the same exact color tan as her thighs. And you couldn't even hardly see the line. But yeah, that girl, I haven't seen her before, but when
That
I
was a whole
came in,
routine.
and sat down at that table that I was at, she
Mhm.
came up to me and she was all like, "Hi, oh, you have a drink?" And I was all like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Oh, you're with the comedy." And I was like, "Oh my God, you don't have to look disappointed." And she's like, "No, no, it's fine. I'm not busy, so it's fine." I'm like, "Okay,
Oh
but
man, yeah.
that's always the way with us comics, man. They're always, "Oh, you're one of the
Comics.
comics."
Yeah, because we generally we're broke, so we're not like buying a ton of drinks. At least I'm not, man. I'm broke and I don't drink, so I bring my water, and I know
Hmm.
that's like taboo because you're not supposed to bring your own beverages.
Hmm.
But yeah, man, I don't like to like bother them for water because I feel like they're busy making money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I just like sit in the corner and just do my thing, go up there, tell jokes, and get the hell out of there.
Right.
You know? So
And I appreciate that point, but when I was in LA and I was doing comedy for 7 years, a lot of these places made you buy a drink,
really,
and it didn't have to necessarily be an alcoholic drink, but they wanted you to spend some money. And I always tried to signal myself out from everybody else by not getting the cheapest absolute friggin' thing that they had, like maybe going up, a step. Instead of
yeah.
getting the PBR, I would get, a Budweiser, which,
Mhm.
is not that much more, but that way I'm distinguishing myself between me and the other 20 comics that are all just buying PBR so they can get on stage. Well, having said that, moving to Houston, I don't have that problem, that you don't see that very often, but I still am in that mode. So I always feel like I need to buy at least something from
Mhm.
the bar,
Mhm.
just so that I don't know. I just feel like I'm contributing other than, just my jokes and stuff,
Yeah,
I'm,
yeah.
you know,
No,
I'm,
that makes total sense, man. That makes total sense. And I probably would buy a drink if I drank, man. But I am a broke pimp. Maybe I can I can even drink soda, man. I got this fucked up diet to where I can't even have high fructose corn syrup or like anything like that. I can literally only drink water. But maybe I should buy another person a drink. When I did my hosting at the Improv, they give you two drinks, and I ended up getting a water for myself because they're $2 water bottles there at the Improv, and then I gave Koo my other drink, man.
oh, okay.
So maybe I'll just do that. I'll just start. I'll buy like the host a drink, probably just to be
See, that's a
polite.
good idea. That's, I mean, some people call that kissing up. I call that, networking. So,
Yeah, yeah. It's always nice to be polite, man, because you really never know who or what's going to happen in the future, you know?
that's true.
I mean, shit pops off, man, for people in the weirdest ways, you know? I mean, I haven't been in the game, so I'm not going to single anybody's names out that are established. But like, I mean, I'm sure there's a few comics that you've thought to yourself, how in the hell did they make it? You know, or who saw them? You know, and
Yeah.
decided that they were gonna. You know, you never know, man. So that might just be that they were nice to the right person, and
Hmm.
that's why they went. Um, I'm not trying to make excuses for mediocre people saying, hey, you know, smooze your way through comedy, but I'm just saying, be nice, man. There's no point in being a dick,
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely. And I feel that, especially in the scene here in Houston, people do not get that at all. They think the douchier they are, the better, and it's really not going to get you anywhere. And the longer you stick around in this scene, I guarantee, Isaac, you're going to know exactly who I'm talking about, and you're going to watch them just crash and burn.
Yeah.
It's going to happen because, you know, not to keep bringing up LA, but there's been a few comics that I saw in LA. Not that I thought that they were bad, but I just thought they were on the same kind of amateur level that maybe I was on at that time. And to see where they are now and how they are actually featuring and touring around and making $1,000 a week or stuff like that, I'm surprised only in the sense that I didn't know that they were that strong of a comic, but it's like you said, they made the right connections, they talked to the right people, they promoted themselves, and that's how they got to where they are. And it's these other ones that and you know who I'm talking about. I'm not going to mention names either, but there's several people on this scene here in Houston that are just shooting themselves in the foot every time they
Yeah.
talk the smack that they talk.
100%, man. And what I've done, honestly, is just disassociate myself because there's other examples of comics that have made it are like the next step up from where we're at, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and that haven't had to utilize those certain comics. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So there's obvious pathways. There's obvious other pathways to success than going through them. So I'm glad for that, and that's what I'm gonna do, man. I stick to myself. You know, my goal is to be undeniably funny. Every time I get up there, I want to be good. I want people to laugh, and I want to be funny. And if you're undeniably funny, people can't fuck with you, no matter how big a hater they are or whatever. You can't, you can't argue with the crowd, man. So as long as the crowd's laughing and the right people are seeing the crowd laughing when I'm on stage, that's all I care about, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I take it just a little step further. And to be honest with you, I more than anything try to make sure that I'm having fun. Because if I'm not having fun, the audience is not going to have fun, and
Yeah.
that's all there is to it. And I've noticed that actually some of my best sets ever come when I'm not in the mood, and I'm like, fuck, I gotta make this, fun somehow, and I end up just start fucking around,
Yeah.
and next thing I know, I've got the audience, because the audience, they can, they smell when you're being genuine. They know it.
Mm-hmm.
And in general, they like that. If
Mm-hmm.
you're just being yourself up there, even if you're not necessarily being witty,
Mm-hmm.
um, you'll get them on your side, and that way, when you do hit a punchline, they're gonna laugh a little harder.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to like the guy that gets up there, doesn't get a laugh the first couple of times, and then blames the audience.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, to me, that is like the dumbest thing any comic can ever do. It's never, ever, ever the audience's fault. Ever,
Yeah.
ever, it's only their fault if they, start heckling you, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
but if they're not laughing, that's not their fault. That's your fault. You were not funny. You did not read the audience. You aren't being yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I tell, new comics all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, don't ever, because you see that. I mean, I'm sure you've seen it where they, oh, you know what? Fuck you guys. You guys don't know nothing. That joke's a good joke. Fuck you. You know, like, no,
Yeah,
yeah,
for
you're
sure.
shooting
No,
yourself in the fucking foot, man. Like,
yeah,
that's not getting anywhere. I saw a guy one time get so pissed off. And I mean, his jokes were terrible, and they were incredibly misogynistic. And he's in one of these bars that's like a, you know, like a hipster kind of a bar. So, you know, it's got a lot of liberal thinking, you know, feminist types
yeah,
in there, and he's going off about dykes and lesbians and all this shit, and nobody's laughing. And then he like literally like went, "You guys are fucking retarded. This is fucking good shit." And he slams the microphone down on the ground and just like walks from the stage out and leaves. And like, to me, I'm like, dude, you know, I don't even know the guy's name, and there's a good fucking reason for it, because obviously
yeah,
the guy's a fucking idiot. You know,
yeah,
like,
yeah, 100%.
you can't.
Yeah,
He obviously didn't read his audience. He obviously, you know, didn't provide anything funny for them to laugh at. You know,
yeah.
so
No,
how is that
exactly.
their fault?
Yeah, exactly. You know, that's a good point, man. You're involved in two rooms, and both the rooms that you're involved with, man, are good rooms for learning because you know Christians has on and off nights.
Mm-hmm.
On its on nights, you know, they're gonna be laughing. It's gonna be good. On its off nights, there's gonna be a couple people in there, and you're mostly gonna be telling jokes to fucking comics. But there is the plus side to that is it makes you work, just like you're saying. You have to figure out how to get that audience to laugh, even though there's only two people in there. And I've been in there on those nights, and I've made those two people laugh, and that right there, I think, is more valuable, you know, than having a full packed room with everybody just fucking rolling on the ground, man. I mean, the comics that get mad at the audience, they don't know any better, you know. They're still, you know, they're still trying to do the easy hacky, you know,
Mm-hmm.
dick jokes and, you know, and stuff like that, and pulling, you know, rags and stuff out their pocket, you know. So it's like you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So you
Uh-huh.
so,
Uh-huh.
so you got to be able to, you have to be able to, like you said, read the audience, know where you're going, but you also, on top of that, they want to see you tell a story, and they want to see it be about you. They don't want to see, a lot of these younger comics, they don't have this life experience to draw from, so they're making up a lot of these stories. They're lying, and they're trying to, you know, say what they think is funny, and it comes out just bad.
Stiff
Yeah, yeah,
stiff, and
yeah.
they're not confident either.
Exactly, exactly.
You
So,
know, I mean, and you know what I see, you know, male comics do that, and then the on the flip side, I the ones that kill, the females that kill me are the ones that are absolutely drop dead gorgeous, and all their jokes are about how they can't get laid.
yeah, or
Who
yeah,
are
yeah,
you
yeah.
fucking? You like right there, you know they're not being genuine. You're like,
Yeah.
shut the fuck up. It's obvious you have a steady boyfriend or a husband or something. You are too fucking gorgeous, and you've got a
Yeah.
personality. Don't give me this shit that you can't get laid. Like,
You know,
and so it's, you know, it's you see it in both men and women comics.
you do. You know, another thing that I noticed in these women comics, man, is that the majority of them in Houston, for whatever reason, they have to go to sex, and then they'll try and play this feminist role at the same time. It's like, look, man, let's hear about something else. Let's hear about something funny. And
Mm-hmm.
there's a new comic on the scene right now that I'm absolutely in love with right now, and it's Addie Blue. And
Uh huh.
man, she's just original as hell.
Yeah.
And I was so surprised to hear that she's actually getting a little bit of hate. You know, people telling her, "Oh, music and comedy, they just don't mix." I'm like, "What? Are you guys kidding me? This girl is fucking something special, you guys. You
Yeah.
need to fucking pay attention." You
Yeah.
know,
She's got a
to
lot of energy and a great attitude. She's going places, I promise. I mean, she's already kind of moving up the ranks. I've already seen her get spots on bigger shows now. So,
Mhm.
you know, I mean, more power to her. And you're right, you know, and those haters, man, trust me, those are the guys that are going to be doing these same damn
Mhm.
mics for years to come, because they're not going to move up because they don't get it. They don't.
Really?
They don't.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I mean, you're right because I also noticed that in LA is a lot of the girl comics. I always felt it went beyond just like I felt like they went over the top. A lot of them would go way over the top on like sex, like where like they're talking as vulgar as like Red Fox, or not to throw out such an old, but like just total X-rated stuff, and I'm like. I feel like it's a put on. Like I'm like I don't even. It doesn't feel genuine, to see a 5'2" girl and she's talking about big veiny cock in her face. I'm like, like I mean I don't feel like it was getting like I feel like they need to top the guys as being outrageous,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where they go, especially with sex.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like you. I appreciate somebody like Addie who, just is clever and original.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite female comic of all time is probably Ellen DeGeneres, and that's because she's herself. She's original. She's goofy. She doesn't have to, play to anybody's,
Mm-hmm.
concerns. So, good on Addie and congratulations. I look forward to seeing,
More
where
of her,
she
yeah.
takes. Yeah.
I'm having her on. She's gonna be the next guest, man.
Cool.
Yeah, for sure, man. Sup, friends? Next guest, Addie Blue. You guys, it's gonna be awesome. So, man, let's talk about other shit, man. Let's talk about some of your comic influences, man. Who were you watching that made you go, you know what? I think I might want to do that, man.
Well, I mean, I always liked Seinfeld and George Carlin, and my mom would always put on the HBO specials every once in a while, and it would be like Stephen Wright and stuff like that. But what really made me go, okay, this is what I want to do. Back when Comedy Central first started, like when it first came out in the early 90s, they used to have a show called Stand Up, Stand Up. And it was kind of like an MTV version of comedy. Like they would just show little clips of different comedians, and they would have like the name, where it was filmed at, what club it was at. And, you see all these different bits. And there was this guy who I saw on there. I'd never heard of him at the time. And he was doing this bit about how if you don't like drugs, then go home and get all your albums and burn them, because all that rock music that you liked, those musicians were real high on fucking drugs. You know who I'm talking about?
Mm-mm.
It was Bill Hicks.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Houston legend. Well, I saw that and I thought that was real funny, and just the way he did it, I was like really appreciative. Turns out like a week later, my dad, one morning, I'm getting ready for school and I'm eating breakfast, and my dad throws the newspaper in front of me and he goes, "You think you're funny? You think you want to be a stand-up? Read about this guy. He just died, but he was a legend or whatever.
Wow.
Read about him,
Mm-hmm.
And it turned out it was Bill Hicks, and it was a tribute from the Chronicle about Bill Hicks passing away in 1994. And I read all about it. I was like, hey, this is the guy that did that joke. Oh my God, I didn't know he was from Houston. Oh my God, I didn't know he died, and like all this stuff. And so what's really funny about that story is, if you know my father is basically Hank Hill from King of the Hill without the X. I mean, he's like an ultra conservative guy. And he just read this article about Bill Hicks, having no idea who the fuck Bill Hicks is, and is trying to get me to be inspired, and gives, and like if he were to actually hear Bill Hicks's material, he definitely would have not, done that. However, having said that, he was a big fan of, in secret, of Sam Kinison, and he would watch Sam Kinison when my mom wasn't around. And laugh his ass off. That's and I definitely tell people that my biggest influences are Sam Kinison and Bill Hicks. with Brian Regan is another one that I just I can't explain how just unbelievably funny he is, and he's just one of those people, like Dave Chappelle too.
Mm-hmm.
Dave Chappelle literally could read the phone book, and you're just laughing your ass off. And I feel like Brian Regan is the same way.
Mm-hmm.
They just are naturally funny people, and they don't even have to rely on being clever.
Yeah.
To make you laugh,
100%. Yeah, that's good, man. See, I was this kind of the same way, but not really. I grew up watching all different kinds of movies. For me, it was all action, and I was like this fucking karate kid growing up.
Yeah.
And then later on in life, as I got older, I watched a little bit of Sinbad. My parents, they were into like Star Search and all that kind of stuff. So I got Sinbad early on. Sinbad was awesome. I loved him. My dad liked him because he was fairly clean. And then I just didn't listen to anything at all for forever. And then I was into MMA because I was into all that martial arts growing up, and I got introduced to Joe Rogan, and that was the end of it, man. Joe Rogan, Joey Diaz, Ari Shaffir, all those guys, man, just did it for me. I saw that, and I was like, that's what I have to do, man. These guys are awesome. You know, they're just going up there, and they were just being real, and it was funny. And then it introduced you to Louis C.K. I was so ignorant to the game. I'm talking like even probably about 3 years ago, man, that like I feel like a kid right now. I'm just discovering all these new people. It's so much fun, dude.
Yeah.
So much fun.
Yeah, no, I've always been kind of a student of comedy. I've my mom, ever since I was a little kid, would we would stay up late on Saturdays and watch Saturday Night Live. Like, I feel like that was probably the one adult thing my mom would let me do growing up, in a house that's pretty conservative, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the oldest of 8 kids, so, like, you can't, like, it was always, I was never allowed to grow or be as old as I was because it wasn't fair to all the younger kids, like I wouldn't, like if I wanted to go and hang out with my friends at the mall, it was a much bigger deal because all my brothers and sisters would be crying, we want to go, we want to do, and so, I got to do it every once in a while, but then like, as everybody got older, then like all of a sudden everybody's getting to do whatever they want, hang out wherever they want, and I'm like, fuck this, like I got pissy. But having said that, I feel like for me, the biggest escape from, the conservative lifestyle that my family had was comedy. And I always loved the idea of making people laugh. And I got into theater. Not quite sure where I was going to go with that. I just knew I liked to act, and I always got mad when they would do the drama plays, and I'd always try to add in some kind of a joke into my performance. Here I am in The Miracle Worker, where you're trying to, Helen Keller, learn what water, and here I am like eating bacon in the background, going, doing something stupid, just always gunning for that laugh, because to me that's the ultimate high, is making people laugh. I love doing it. But as I started doing stand-up, I'll tell you, it kind of ruins some friendships, because now my friends, a lot of times when I'm just being myself, they'll be like, this is a bit, you're doing a bit. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm pissed off about something. And they're like, no, you're doing a bit. I'm like, no, I'm not. I swear to God, this happened to me at fucking McDonald's, dude. And they're like, yeah. So like, it's, I actually just today, this morning, I was going off about, because my dad and I are big sports fans, big Houston sports fans. And we were talking about the Astros, and I just started going off, and my dad just stopped me. He's all right, comedian, all right, I save it for the stage. And I'm all like, no, what are you talking? I'm trying to talk to you. These people on stage don't give a shit about what I think about our relief pitching,
That's
But
funny, man. That's almost a compliment, when your life kind of crosses over. You're so natural on stage that people in life think that you're,
that
trying to.
I'm
Yeah,
practicing material on them. Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty funny, man.
Yeah. But the
Hmm.
sad part is, and I don't know if you've gotten noticed this yet, but my closest friends and family do not find me funny on stage. They
Really?
don't. They absolutely don't. Like they like I have friends that'll be like, "Oh, dude, you're hilarious. That's great." But like the ones that I've known the longest for like years and years and years, they come, they support. Afterwards, I'm like, "Hey, what'd you think?" And they'll be like, that was really funny," and I'm all like,
Yeah.
"What the fuck, man? Like, you're always laughing at me when I'm not on stage." And I'm like, I don't know why you're funny off stage, but not on.
Yeah.
I think the reason why is it's like a magician doing tricks for his family and friends. They've already seen it,
Yeah. Yeah.
so they're like, you got their card in your back pocket there, like they already know where it's going. Whereas most people who sit in my audience who don't know me, they're not going to know where I'm going with my
Yeah.
jokes.
No, yeah, see, that's my main problem, though. That's why I'm doing this podcast, man, because I really don't have friends, man. I talk to my kids, I talk to my girlfriend. My friends are on Facebook, and they live in different states. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
I don't really hang out with anybody, man. So if I'm telling jokes, I'm telling them to my kids, and my kids are easy to make laugh. So usually they're the original barometer. If it passes them, then I take it to my girlfriend, and uh, but she's pretty stone faced. She just tells me that was funny.
Right? Yeah.
So,
Seinfeld had a whole episode about he wanted to get rid of his girlfriend because she wouldn't laugh. She would just say, "Oh, that's funny."
yeah, that's how it is for me, man. But she helps out a lot. She helps out a lot because I'm one of those, people. I need that feedback, and I need that honest feedback. I can't. I don't like when people try to blow smoke, and she's definitely down to give me that honest feedback. She is not scared at all. That's one of the main reasons I'm with her, man. She's tough.
Good.
But yeah, she man, we're both like jujitsu fighters. That's how we pretty much met. And dude, she is like, yeah, she's not gonna hold back anything. If I if I mess up, dude, I'm gonna get caught. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's dope. It is dope, man. Is it now? A lot of your friends, you grew up out here, so are your friends still around? Are they married? Are they moved on? Or what's going on?
It's all over the place. I have two best friends that I grew up with, and one of them is in L.A. and one of them's here. Um, the one in LA is married now. I was his best man at his wedding just recently. I've grown to love his wife. I lucked out because most of my friends' girlfriends usually hate me, and she and I hit it off, and so she's been a very close friend of mine as well. Like I can call her on our own, and
Yeah.
we can be cool. And then I've got my other friend that's here who is not married, but he lives with a girl that has 3 kids that aren't his.
Oh
So it's
wow.
like he's married.
Yeah.
And this girl, she's not like the girl in LA at all. Like she's almost the exact opposite. She likes me because I know how to act like a decent human being, but I definitely question. I don't know, wherever she's from. I definitely would like to make sure that drinking water is checked because this girl, her thought process, it blows my mind sometimes.
Are you traditional? Are you like all about marriage and family and all that, or what are your beliefs?
I believe I need to find a girl that I can stand long enough before I can think about marriage and family and all that.
Yeah, yeah.
To me, it's, I mean, I used to think about that kind of stuff, but, now as I'm getting older, I just kind of went, you know what? I mean, I you know, it's not for me to really worry about right now because I don't even have a girlfriend, you know.
Yeah.
And if I meet somebody that I really like and I really want to be around, whatever, you know, I feel like she and I will decide. And honestly, I could be happy like being married and having some kids, or you know, I could meet someone that doesn't want to have kids and we just, you know, travel the world and, you know,
Right.
go on adventure. That would be awesome too. It just depends on who I end up meeting, you know.
Right. I feel like as a society that we've evolved past this whole marriage ideal. You know, I think if you find somebody cool, cool, stick with them. But there shouldn't be this whole pageantry and all these expectations and stuff like that, man. And it's tough because you move to Texas and it's like the Bible Belt and it's like a big thing out here. You know, a lot of girls are looking for that,
Oh
and
yeah.
I'm just waiting for the day that these old views kind of like die off so we can go ahead and evolve and just kind of like move on as a species, man, because
I think
it's
it's
holding us
getting
back.
there, man. If you get on Tinder, you can see. I mean, most of the girls that are anywhere between anywhere within 10 or 15 years of my age are all divorced. All of them are single parents with kids.
Hmm.
So, I mean, I feel like, you know, as you know, I mean, you know, that's the other thing is Texas, just like anywhere else, it's more talk than it is practice. You know what I'm saying? Like people have, like I feel like people outside of Texas have this, you know, this conception of Texas being like a certain way. You know, that we're shooting guns in the air, riding horses around, you know, um, doing, you know, slavery still around, you know, shit like that. When the reality of it is that you're hearing the talking heads, the people that are in charge, saying that shit, but I don't think it's in practice really at all. You know, I mean,
Hmm.
like, you know, for instance, like gay marriage. You know, like everybody makes such a big deal. You know, and I'll never forget living in L.A. This gay guy came up to me. He was a bartender, and he came up to me and he was all like, "You're from Texas?" And I was all like, "Yeah." And he's all like, "Do I intimidate you because I'm so gay?" And I'm all like, first of all, my brother is gay, and he lives in Texas, and he could out gay you on the gayest day of the gayest part of your life. You understand me? Like you are nothing compared to him. My brother Charlie created a volleyball league in Dallas for gay men called Diva, the Dallas Intramural Volleyball Association.
Oh
It
wow.
doesn't get any gayer than that.
That's
And
awesome.
so, you know what I'm saying? Like that's the perception that you know, people have that
Yeah.
Texans are all, and I'm like, you have no idea, man. Like there's you know, what you're saying, I think we're closer to that point of what you're talking about
Mhm.
than you know than you may realize.
Yeah. I
You
think it's
know,
time to evolve, man. I'm telling you, I'm getting scared, you know, not to go all wacky on you or anything like that, but I am getting scared with the way things are going. I think we're headed more towards like that movie Idiocracy, more towards a society like that, man.
that's true. That is very true. But that's a whole different thing. That's just idiots, man. Like people just willful ignorance. You know that
Right?
just drives me nuts. You know, I mean, uh, give you an example of that. I was on one of the comedy forums in Houston on Facebook,
Hmm.
and I was, you know, I always post, you know, trying to promote the open mics, and I usually write, you know, maybe, you know, anywhere from 5 to 10 sentences, and never thought anything of it until I wrote a real short one, and then some smartass commented like, "This is my favorite post from you because it's not 1,000 words long." And I was like laughing at first, but then I went, "Wait a minute. Since when did reading become such a fucking chore? Like, really? We're
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
about
for
10
sure.
sentences here, you know?"
For sure, for
And
sure.
they, you know, then of course he tries to get out of sounding like an idiot by quoting Shakespeare, but I'm like, his
It's
brevity is, whatever. And I'm just
oh my god, dude, it's so fucking tiring. It's so tiring, that I honestly just like I tune him out. You know what I mean? I can't even. It's like there's been so many times I wanted to post something on there. I'm like, you know what though? Hey, you got to consider the source, man. These fuckers got to wake up every morning and look at their sorry selves in the mirror every day and realize that they got to live with themselves. Every time I look in the mirror, I feel fucking good, brother.
yeah.
So,
Well,
hey,
I don't
man.
know that I feel good, but I'm at least usually liking what my hair's doing. So
That's awesome, man. Well, check it out, man. I've had so much fun talking with you, Rob. My dog's going crazy. My kids won't fucking take care of it, so I got to go whoop some ass.
oh
I
man,
want to thank you for fucking doing this with me, man.
thank you,
Um,
man. The pleasure's all mine.
yeah, man. Any fucking time, open invite, bro. I'm definitely gonna be looking forward to working with you. I think it's next Sunday, right? We're gonna be doing some kind of audition.
Yeah, absolutely. Down in Seabrook at Fatty's, and if you don't mind, I'd like to plug my big show coming up on Friday, June 24th.
Handle your business, bro. Handle your business. Start doing your plugs. I'll be right back.
Okay. Folks out there, I just want to let you know June 24th at Traffic Premium Lounge. It's the Robot Turd Show. It's going to be me, Andy Huggins, who's a Houston legend in the comedy scene, Robert Mungle, who also just a monster in the comedy scene, and then T-Shawn Shannon. And T-Shawn was a writer for Saturday Night Live. It's going to be the four of us. Kiki Maroon is going to be hosting. Tickets are available on Eventbrite for $15. You can use the promo code RobotTurd, get $5 off.
I love that.
So that's this Friday, June 24th. This coming Friday, June 24th, at Traffic Premium Lounge, and doors open at 9.
Cool, cool.
Thank you, Isaac. I appreciate it.
Hey, no problem, man. Real quick, I want to thank Happy Thrift on Facebook and eBay. That's your home for vintage everything. If you guys need knickknacks, gifts, clothes, whatever, hit up Happy Thrift, you guys. That's your fucking spot. All right, you guys. I'm Isaac Eubank. This has been fucking Sup, friend. Peace.
Sup,